Hi everybody, and welcome to our Complete Angler Fishing Report for this week. Now you notice the days are getting longer, and that's always an encouragement. I know that I've been talking to a lot of my friends because you see I'm a rampant optimist and I'm looking forward to the better days and hopefully some fantastic fishing. I keep hearing stories of those mice, gets me excited. The rivers right now are looking like they're pretty much out because they're quite high. There's been a bit too much rain in local areas to keep them nice and clear, so we don't have to worry about protecting them. They've got natural protection because you just can't get out and fish them very much. The lakes are going okay, so there's quite a number of them open. Get hold of this very valuable book. This book here is your regulation book, and it tells you what areas are open and what areas are closed. And don't just think in terms of your local area. Go look around your adjoining districts. You'll be surprised how much water is open in the likes of Nelson, Marlborough, or across into the west coast if you're in that way inclined, or get down into central South Island where there's so many other lakes which are doing their thing. So I just put that to you. Do a bit of light reading, especially if it's a bit wet, and go and find a place that you haven't been to before and check it out. Always good. Now, when it comes to canals, the canals are steady without being anything fantastic. We have had reasonable catches there, and if you're on my Facebook page, you'll know that we have had some pretty good fish being put up there. If you're after a big one, get out there, give it a go. This is a good time to be doing it. You might need to change some of your techniques compared to last year because it's not quite as easy as it was last year. But that's good because that keeps you growing and thinking and developing new ways and tricks to catch fish. Now I want to spend a bit of time talking about salmon. We're very fortunate that we're having Nstore on the 20th of July, which is of course Saturday morning, from 9 to 12, a fisheries scientist by the name of Rasmus Gabrielsen. Now this man is really knowledgeable on the whole area of salmon. In fact, he's just done a PhD relating to salmon in our local area. So he brings local knowledge of a very high degree, lots and lots of scientific background, and he can tell you what's going on with the likes of the hatcheries. Do hatcheries work? He'll tell us about the history, where salmon was back in the 80s, where it's gone in the 90s, then into the 2000s. He'll got all sorts of information available to you. He'll tell you whether he thinks that seeding the upper ends with Scotty boxes is going to work, whether he thinks that hatcheries are working, whether he thinks that regulation changes is going to work, and all those other questions. So if you've got a tricky question, please come along and ask him in person. He's only too happy to talk to you and anybody else who might decide to come in as well. Just give you a real good understanding of that. And a little later on in the day, we're going to spend a little bit of time doing what's going to be develop into a podcast. Being involved in this industry and talking to a lot of anglers is that there's a bit of cloudiness out there with regard to how it all works and what's happening. Are the trawlers still taking the fish? Should we be spending money on hatchery rearing? All these sorts of things are very important because we do want to know that this fishery is still going to be alive and kicking for our next generations coming along. And so this man will help us by giving a whole pile of answers. You realize that it's a very complex thing, but the more we talk about it and the more we understand it, then the better it's going to be. So we're looking at putting up some sort of reference tool there so you can look to the future and give good answers to people so they know what's going on. So I think that's about all we want to talk about right now. Come along and see us if you can at 484 Cranford Street. Of course, do it Saturday morning if you can from 9 to 12 because you'll find that you'll have the added bonus of being able to find out more about salmon. Other than that, go online and see all our bits and pieces we've got. We can't wait to get you out there catching more fish.